I'm working with Amazon to get this book up this year. So stay tuned. It's like, it's crazy because it just started out as a Facebook post. It was like an idea. And it's crazy how that works because, like, you know, stuff, you know, major things start out as ideas. And then they come into reality. And then it's reality, and it's like, wow, this is really happening. But I really wanted to do this because I wanted to have justice for my father. I feel like this would be justice for him. And I want to tell you guys a little bit about him and who and what he meant to me. And I want to give you guys a little sneak peek of what's going to be in this book. So I'm going to be discussing about some things. I want to discuss in this mukbang some things that happened to me as a child that I want to put in the book. I'm not going to tell y'all the entire thing because I want y'all to read this book. But I want to capture y'all interest. You know, I want y'all to be like, you know, support your girl. And even if you don't buy the book, that's fine. I just want you to like take a couple minutes out of your time, out of your day, of your time. Just give me a couple minutes of your time. And as you're sitting here listening to me talk now, when it comes out on Amazon, show your girl some support. You know, tell a friend, tell a family member to, you know, read the first couple chapters and see if that is something that you actually would want to purchase. And I appreciate everybody that will purchase this book and support your girl. And so, yeah. So let me get this burrito out first because, you know, this burrito is calling your girl name. But, like, look how big. I be seeing, like, Chipotle mukbangs, and I'm like, that burrito is huge. I'm not going to finish this, y'all. Do not come for me because I don't finish this. Please do not. But oh, that heat kicked down really quickly.
I said, oh Lord Jesus, it's a fire.
But this is hot. Like, look inside of that. It's a steak. It's steak and chicken. It's like half steak, half chicken. And it has like the hot salsa. And it has like the brown rice. And some sour cream. And some other shit. And some cheese and shit. So like, this is hot, y'all. Like, but I kind of like it though. Thumbs up this video if y'all like my book cover. Now let me explain the book cover. Now, like I said, I didn't know how I wanted the book cover to look. I had an idea, but I couldn't come up with a cover until I came up with the title. So I could put it all together. I wanted the title first. And I went back and forth on a bunch of titles, y'all. I went back and forth on a bunch of titles. And I chose The World We Lived In because I'm gonna tell you guys why I chose this title, but then I'm gonna tell y'all what I was like, all the other titles I was going back and forth on. So when I say we, I mean me and my father. Like, there was other people that lived in this house as a child. I lived with my stepbrother, my stepsister, my stepmom, and then it was me and my dad. And then for a few years, my uncle or like my dad's friend lived with us. So there was people in and out of this house. But for the most part, it was just me, my stepbrother, sister, and my stepmom and my dad. Now, one of the most important things I want y'all to know is that my stepbrother, stepsister, and stepmom, these are not step. They shouldn't be considered step anything. My stepmom is actually was just my dad's girlfriend. That's all she ever was. And she just happened to have 2 kids. Now, growing up in this house, like I was in this house from the time I was 4 to the time I was 15. Growing up, I was forced to call her mom. But while I was in that house, I called her mom. And I called them brother and sister, but I never considered them any like a brother or a sister to me. They didn't act in that way. I didn't consider her my mom. We didn't even look alike. But for the longest time, I didn't believe that she was my mom until her kids said that she wasn't. And I just noticed that we didn't look alike. But for the longest time, she made me call her mom, so I saw her as a mom. And she helped raise me, so out of respect for that, I called her mom. But I just really wanted to point out that she is never married my father, and that she was just nothing more but a girlfriend. And she's going to be really big in this. She's actually the reason why I'm coming out with this book. She's the reason for all of the abuse that ever went on with me and my father. And she's the reason for the title, The World We Lived In, because of her, our world was like turned upside down. But at the same time, like, this all was preventable. Like, my dad could have like packed up our things, and he could have like he could have got me out of that situation. He could have got himself out of that situation. I honestly feel like, and these are my opinions and I'm entitled to it, I honestly feel like had he did that, he would be alive today. He would be living and breathing today, fine, perfectly fine. You know what I mean? He might have a couple of health issues because he was diagnosed with diabetes in the 90s. Even with diabetes, I have family members that's living with diabetes for years and they're fine. They're other than the diabetes, they're healthy, and I feel like he would be alive. He would be alive today had he just had a backbone. You know what I mean? I mean, I love my dad to pieces. I always will, but I just feel like he lacked a backbone. And he wanted someone to take care of him and me. So he, to take some of the responsibility of caring for me. So like I said, I love my dad. Like, he was everything to me growing up. My own mom thought I put him on a high pedestal from her, my actual birth mom. And she was right. She was right. He's all I ever known, and my mom, my birth mom was hardly ever there. So is it like, I mean, as a child, and you only have one real parent in your life, like, obviously you're going to put them above all else, because that's all you know. So that's exactly what I did. As a child, I don't think I was wrong for that. I don't think I was wrong for doing that. Putting him on a high pedestal, even though he, as I got older, I realized he didn't really deserve to be on that pedestal, as high above everybody else. But, you live and you learn. And I learned a lot of things as I got older about him that he wasn't too proud of himself and that I wasn't proud of. But in the end, my father is my father, and I love him no matter what. So even though he did a lot of messed up things and he put me in a lot of messed up situations, and he put himself in the ultimate messed up situation, things come with consequences. Like, if you do things, just know that if you do things, that it's karma. It is karma. Like, karma is gonna, like, karma comes for everybody, no matter who you are. You do some messed up shit, karma's gonna come back for your ass. So, trust me, your girl knows about karma, okay? So, the reason for the book is because I was inspired. I was inspired by different writers, different books.
I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to eat. I'm gonna eat. Can I eat for a minute? Can I enjoy this?
This taco is so good. Yeah, I'm gonna get this over and over again. I might even get some more later today. But my fiance, once I came up with the title, and my fiance, he really liked the title. He's like, can I go ahead and show you an idea of a book cover I got? He's like, in his mind, he had, you know, from the title, he was like, he can definitely create something, like see a vision of a book cover with that title. And that's what he came up with. And I love it. I love it. Now, the title that I was going to go with initially, that very first popped to my mind, was a bit harsh. And now, although my dad's girlfriend, if I call her stepmom, that's just what I was used to calling her for years, for over a decade. So, if I call her that, you know, and it is what it is. That's what I called her growing up. So, even though, like I said, they never married, it was just me calling her that out of respect. Even though she was harsh, and when y'all read this book, you're going to see just how harsh she really was. From my perspective, I can only speak from my perspective, you guys. So, and on my dad's behalf. And what I witnessed with them too. So, the first title that I ever came up with was called The Devil Has a Smile. And then I changed that from The Devil Has a Smile to The Devil Has a Smile to The Devil Smiles Too. Not that much difference, right? The Devil Smiles Too. And I thought about that because, like, I didn't want to call her, I changed it because I didn't want to call her a devil. You know, I wanted to showcase how I just wanted to showcase how she was. I didn't want to call her out of her name and call her something like the devil. It's like I said, as harsh as she was growing up, you know, a lot of people would look at it as just her being a strict mom. But she was a much more than that. She was an abusive parent, is what she was. But I still didn't believe that she deserved to be called the devil. So I changed that almost immediately. And then I said, you know what, but I want to showcase her both her sides. She has two sides to her. And it's because I believe it's because of her bipolar disorder. For a lot of y'all for those of y'all who don't know what bipolar means, it basically, in layman's terms, it just means that you have two sides to you. Like 1 minute you're up, 1 minute you're down, 1 minute you're happy, 1 minute you're sad. It's like your emotions are all over the place. And with her, you'll be talking to her and then she'd be completely fine. She'd be completely fine. You'd be talking to her. And then the next minute, she just flips out on you. Start yelling, screaming, throwing shit, you know, just acting erratic for no reason. You know, you say one little thing that makes her mad and she just like explodes, you know. But then like seconds later, she's apologizing and she's just happy again. And it was just like, as a child, that was scary to witness. I witnessed it all the time. And as a child, I didn't know what bipolar meant. I didn't know what that was. I mean, I've heard that term over and over again in the house and outside of the house. And it was unfortunate for me because I put up with a lot of stuff as a child and witnessed a lot of stuff. And my dad put up with it too. But like I said, he did it out of choice. He could easily just gathered all our shit and just left that house, like, and never looked back. But he chose to stay in that house and have me there too. And like I said, I feel like one of the reasons, there's a lot of reasons why I feel like he chose to stay there and didn't want to leave. But one of the main reasons I feel like is because he didn't want all the responsibility of taking care of a kid. Now, like I said, all names of every family member, every friend, everybody that is in this book is going to be changed. I don't want nobody coming out of the blue trying to sue your girl, okay? No. Because this is going to be worldwide. Like, anybody can purchase it on Amazon. Like, anybody can see it. Anybody can purchase it on Amazon. Okay? So, it's going to be up there. It's going to be up there. And I'm working with Amazon. And It's gonna be late this year. It's like sometime in the fall. That's all I can tell y'all about the date. When I have the date official, y'all know I'm gonna come on here and I'm gonna let y'all know immediately when y'all can go look at it. But it's definitely gonna be in the fall. So expect it in the fall. In this fall time. So yeah. And I honestly feel like she was a reason for his passing. Like, over the years, just the abuse and, you know, him getting sicker and sicker over the years, it made sense that she was the big reason and why he's not here anymore. I just put all that together and came to that conclusion. I just told my ex when I was with him. When we got our own place, my dad was going to come live with us, and then he would finally be free of her. I don't care what she was going to say. I don't care at all. That was my father, and he was going to come with me. I was determined to have him with us, away from her. She's the type of person that deserves to be alone. Because anybody that comes across her is doomed. It's doomed. And it's crazy because you just signed your death certificate. You come across her, you're a man, you just signed your own death certificate, whether you know it or not. But it's crazy because there is actually another man. She has another man. I've seen them two on Facebook before, years ago. I don't know if they're still together or if he's even alive, but years ago, I remember seeing her with a man, a picture of her and a man. And then I remember reading a comment like, they like her because on his side, I guess it was his family or somebody from his family commented that they like her because she kept the guy in check. And I remember reading that comment and I just got the chills, like, because my dad's side of the family hated her because of that. Because she was so controlling and she controlled every aspect of my father's life. They hated her. They wanted her gone. And I don't blame them. Whenever my dad wanted to visit, like, people in my family, like, she would get mad. You know, she'd start crying. She'd start playing the victim card, and she would make my dad feel really bad. She would say stuff like, "Oh, you're going to leave me to go over there with them? You need to hang out with me more," and blah, blah, blah. And so she would just, you know, make my dad feel bad. And so he would not go. He would just stay with her. And she'd do this every time he wanted to go see his family. Every time. So sometimes I was supposed to go with him. And she would trick him into staying with her. I didn't want to spend time with her. I growing up, I hated her. She was abusive. She wasn't a loving mom, like she wanted everybody to believe. She wasn't. She was abusive, and I wanted away from her. So I just heard certain family members, like aunts, uncles, you know, cousins, saying they all said the same thing. Like, you know, she was basically keeping my dad in a cage. She wouldn't let him out. And then when he did come out, he would have to lie to say he's going somewhere else, and then I ended up going over there. I've heard this from family members telling me this. That when he got over there, he would say, "Oh, I told her I was going to the store." You gotta lie and tell her that you're going to the store just so you can see your family? That's the problem. That's the problem. And they said when he would come over, they would make comments like, "Oh, she finally let you out? She finally let you out of the cage?" Wow. So many stories. I can go on forever about what happened, what I witnessed, what I was told from different accounts of different family members. All of it's going to be in a book. I had to do this. Not just for me, I had to do it for my dad. I wanted people to know. I'm not going to cry. No, I'm not. I wanted people to know that if you're in any type of abusive relationship or anything, that you should want to be free. You should want to be free. You shouldn't want to you shouldn't want to have to sit there and take it no matter what. You should want to be free. And as a child, I didn't understand why he didn't want to be free. Why he chose to go through that. Like why he chose everything. Why he choose it? It was a really fucked up situation. Very dysfunctional, very fucked up. And like I said, I don't want to go into grave detail about stuff, but just know that I am in my book. I'm gonna go into a lot of details in my book. And from what I can remember, what I was told, what I witnessed, and from what I can remember. From the time I was 4 to the time I was 15 in that house. Once I hit 15, things changed. And I will go into a little bit about what changed exactly. How it changed from me being little 4-year-old, 5-year-old, 6-year-old, 7-year-old, 8-year-old, 9-year-old, so on and so forth, all the way up to 15. Because from 15 to 18, I don't want to say it wasn't as bad, but I was older, so I could defend myself. I can defend my father. I could do more. I understood more, and I tolerated less. You know, as a child, you have no choice but to do what you're do what you're told to do. No matter, you have to respect the adults around you, no matter who they are. But as I got older, 15, 16, 17, I didn't put up with nothing. I chose not to put up with anything. Y'all, like, I refused to put up with any more abuse. Say that. I refused it. Because when I hit 15, we moved out of that house. And into a couple more houses. And then I left for school. But bringing this up in this book is going to help, like, give me some closure, and it's going to help bring justice for my father. And that's what I really want. I want closure, and I want justice for him. So I want his story out there from my perspective and other family members' accounts. I want justice for my father. I remember him telling me he didn't love her. I don't know how old I was. I don't know exactly when this happened, but I just remember him telling me that he did not love her. And that's what made me believe that he was only with her because he wanted somebody to take care of him. But, like I said, karma comes for everybody. And him using her just so she would take care of him backfired. Instead of taking care of him, oh yeah, she took care of him all right. She took care of him in her own way. For years and years and years, his health was deteriorating over time. She slowly killed him. So she was in charge of the funeral, and leaving her in charge, like my dad had, well, I didn't know he had this, but he did have a life insurance policy. And how I found out about this was pretty fucked up. I didn't want money from my dad. Like, my dad did have a last will and testament. I was not there for the reading of the will. I didn't want anything. I didn't want any money. I didn't want anything from him. The only thing I really did want, though, and remember saying that I wanted, was like something of his. Like his shoes that he wore, or a favorite. Like, for his birthday, I used to give him pocket watches. He hated wristwatches because he didn't like anything dangling on his wrist, but he liked watches. So I would get him pocket watches. And I wouldn't just go anywhere to get them, like the dollar store or Walmart or nothing. I would go to antique shops, like old antique shops, or thrift stores, or thrift stores, or, you know, somewhere antique, old, you know, where they would have like really like like that old style pocket watch, because that's what he liked. And I remember getting him a few pocket watches and, you know, a lot of other stuff, and I wanted the pocket watches back because I know he kept them all those years, and I wanted those back. And or like a t-shirt that he used to love to wear, something that was his favorite, that was his, that's all I wanted. Whereas other people wanted money, other people, you know, wanted the material stuff. I just wanted something to remember him by. That was it. But I didn't go to the will and testament, and I didn't go to the reading of the will, and I didn't do any of that. And so I don't know what happened. But what I do know is that from what a family member told me, that they were having a conversation with my stepmom after he had passed, and in the background they can hear my stepmom's mother. I used to call her grandma. You know, I used to call her step grandma or anything like that. I actually used to call her grandma. So, because she actually acted like a grandma. She acted like a grandma, and she didn't treat me no different from her actual grandkids, and I respect that. I didn't have no problems with her growing up. She did have her hateful ways a little bit, but not towards me. So I don't have any harsh memories of her. So I will show her respect in this book. She will be in the book. But it could be heard, she could be heard in the background of that phone conversation, talking about, well, at least you have Jay's life insurance policy. Then at least you have Jay's insurance money or something like that. And that was told to me. I didn't hear that myself. You know, like, I can't prove that that's actually what happened. I'm going off of family members' accounts of situations that they had witnessed and was relayed back to me. And I don't have any reason, none of these family members that have told me anything, I don't have any reason not to believe them whatsoever. They've never lied to me. I've never felt like they were lying about anything. I don't feel like they had a reason to lie. So I believe them wholeheartedly. But to hear my grandma say that, I tried to take up for her for a second. I was like, well, you know what? Maybe she was talking about at least she got the insurance money so she could pay for the funeral. Maybe she was talking about that. But the way my family member said, you know, and felt like he or she didn't feel like that was the case. Even though I wanted to believe that with all my heart, that my grandma was not out, you know, to like just get money, you know, for whatever. I don't know. I don't know, you guys. But a little while after that, I went on Facebook. And, you know, a lot of people were saying, and, you know, in memory of my father, they were posting a lot of stuff. Anybody that had known him. And I went on my stepmom's page, and I saw her asking for donations for his funeral. She was talking about how the funeral was going to be pushed back, and that she was trying to get more money to be able to do this funeral. And she needed, anybody that ever known him, she needed them to donate to help him have a funeral. And I was beside myself. I was like, I couldn't believe that she's over here asking people for donations, and she had his insurance money the whole time. Like, the average funeral is like $7,000, and his insurance policy was over $50,000. She had plenty of money to have a funeral for him. And in the end, there was no funeral. Let me tell you what happened. In the end, there was just a small get-together of my stepmom's church-goer friends or whatever. She went to a specific church, and they had like a little potluck. Everybody brought a dish or something in that church, and they had a picture of him blown up, and and then certain family members was invited to go, and they went and they told me how it looked. I asked I asked these family members, I said, was anything done for my father? Was anything done? And they said, yeah, she had a church gathering of like a few people attended, and 2 of my family members attended, and they were outraged. They were extremely outraged. So much to the point where one family member like went around destroying the place. Not like just threw food around, just like knocked down things up in there, just like threw things, and just like was to the point where they got kicked out. But they ended up just leaving. They ended up just, destroying up, just tearing up shit, and then they just left. They were that pissed off because they said that it was just like the church building was run down. The blown up picture of him, like you could barely tell it was him. They said a couple of things about him, and then they just ate, and then that was it. It was like there was nothing major. It was just something that was just like say a few words. You can't barely see who he looked like. None of these people knew him none of these was like family and friends that known him. You were just like random people that go to this church, y'all. And 2 of my family members were invited, and they were outraged. They went to see what it looked like. They were pissed off, and then they tore up everything and left. And one of them actually threatened my stepmom, said that if they ever see her again, that they would kill her. I had to calm them down. When I got on the phone with them, I talked to them. I said I had to calm them down, tell them that she's not worth it. She's not worth it. But growing up, my stepmom had always been selfish. She had always been greedy. She always just thought about herself. I remember there was times where utilities were cut off. We didn't have hot water. We didn't have electricity. Lights were cut off. I remember times where we had to light a bunch of candles. I remember like going to school, we would have to like, to get ready for school, we would have to like boil water on the stove and throw it in the tub, wait a few minutes for it to cool down. And that was our hot bath, or, and because utilities were on, we didn't have hot water, because she would take that money and she would go gamble it away at bingo or the boat or whatever she would do, and then she would take other people's money and gamble it away. And she would, like, she did a lot of harsh things, you guys. She did a lot of harsh stuff. And karma has always came for her, but she never learned her lesson. She just keep doing what she's doing. And no matter what, I think it's crazy to me how, her own kids, like, well, it's no surprise to me why her own kids turned out the way they did. Let me just give y'all a little insight on how her kids turned out to be. Her daughter now like has at least 4 or 5 kids by 4 or 5 different daddies. She was part of the reason why I lost my dad for a certain amount of time when I was a child, and was falsely accused of situations, like I said, and it was proven to be false, and it was all over the news. I had to do some digging for this, y'all. I had to do some digging for this, okay? But I found it, and I needed it because I needed it for, for my book. So I needed this clip. I needed the article. It's the article that goes along with this news clip. So I needed the article and what was said in the news clip to put in my book. So yeah, so that's gonna be up in the book too. So yeah, that's basically in a nutshell her life. That's what she got going. Nothing. She just nothing but a fast ass slut. That's what she turned out to be. Big surprise. But because, you know, she didn't have her father in her life. You know, my dad tried to be a father figure to her, and to get him out of the house, she lied on him. To get me out of the house, she lied on him, thinking I was going to have to go with him because I came in with him. Thought I was going to have to leave with him. But, you know, I forgave her as an adult, you know, because, like, she was a kid at the time. She didn't know what she was just jealous because I was the baby and I was getting all the attention. So I forgave her as an adult. And although she admitted all the crap that she had put my, you know, dad through to me, she goes and she tells everybody else what she wants to tell him. But whatever. I don't have no communication and no relationship with her whatsoever. I don't want no relationship with her or communication with her whatsoever. She's contacted me several times on Facebook talking about she missed me and, you know, she wants to see how I was doing and she just wants to talk again. She wants to, you know, whatever. No, I don't care. I don't care. The first 3 out of 4 of her kids, I helped her take care of. Like, I was basically like their second mom. I always had them. And whether they remember me or not, like, I always took care of them. I always had them, and she knows that. Like, I don't have no reason to lie on this. And I wouldn't be coming out with a whole ass book full of lies. Everything's going to be, like I said, from my account, 100% true. True stories up in here. So everything y'all read, just know that it's going to be 100% true. Now, her son is gay. He turned out to be gay. And I didn't see that coming either, because he never had a girlfriend. From what I remember, I never seen him with any girlfriend, any girl. And so for the most part, he is doing, from last time I heard about him, like, he is doing pretty well for himself, other than, you know, just him you know, taking it in the ass, you know, like, that's basically, like, the gist of him. Like, he bounces from New York to Florida to, you know, he bounces all over the place. But from the last time I heard of him, he was doing pretty well up for himself. You know, I don't have no relationship with him. I don't have no contact with him either, and I don't want it. He gave me a bit of a hard time growing up, but like I said, I forgave him as well. He was a kid going off of his big sister. So yeah, that's basically how her kids came out. One's a slut and one's just gay. So that's it. Come to the conclusion that I want nothing to do with any of those people. And if my dad was alive, he would feel the same way. He wouldn't blame me. He wouldn't blame me for wanting nothing to do with anybody. Everybody's just strangers to me. So be looking out for your girl's book later this fall. And if you like this video, go ahead and like it, comment, rate, and sub to your girl. It helps your girl out a lot. And I appreciate every single one of you guys. I love you all. And have a good rest of your day. And I'll see you guys in my next video.